Welcome back. You're still watching Power Breakfast live on Citizen TV. It's a special edition. Of course, you can see the setting is a bit different because we're coming to you from Kakamega County. Now, we do have to apologize for the technical hitch, but now we're back and we continue with our discussion here. We have Bwana Musa Chibole, and just before the break, just before we took an unexpected break, you were explaining about whether or not this is a campaign platform for Governor Wycliffe Oparanya.
As you are aware, the State of the County address is a requirement in law. Every governor has to comply and give that address at the end of every year and the beginning of the new session of the County Assembly. However, as it is required in law, the issue of the implementation progress report is also a necessary process that we have to go through. The government has to go back to the public and be able to account for the 4 years they have been in office. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to take place every year. But as we are doing it for the 4 years that we have been in office. Now, as I was saying, the governor, when he came in the office, he also had a manifesto, a promise that he made to the people of Kakamega. And today, what he will be doing is not to campaign, but just to lay out what he has done so that the people can be able to see whether he has been faithful to his manifesto.
Now let's come to Bwana Moses Sunday. You're the county attorney, and Bwana Chibole here says that what is happening here today is anchored in law. But is it necessary for the governor to come to a stadium and address the public to give this progress report? Because we saw the president, he went to parliament to do something similar.
Thank you, Mr. Ndimoli. First, I want to say that these events have not started today. As you have already been told, yesterday we were at the County Assembly, and the governor made his State of the County address to the Assembly, and today is the hallmark of that active. Today is the climax, whereby now, other than unveiling what he has done over the past 4 years in terms of the promises he made to the people of the county government, County of Kakamega, we're also saying that we have those instruments of authority, those unique instruments that identify Kakamega County as a government within the 48 governments established by the Constitution of Kenya under Article 6. And therefore, he's come here to tell the public, not just the inhabitants or the residents of Kakamega County, but the Kenya as a whole, that these are the instruments that will identify Kakamega County as one of the 48 governments recognized under the Kenyan Constitution. Yes. And because of that, there's a law that we have passed, which is called the Kakamega County Flag, Emblems and Names Act 2015, which then declares what is a symbol of authority under that act. And if you look at Section 4 of that act, then we have the county anthem, which you already have, and in the course of the day, you'll have occasion to listen to it. We have the coat of arms. We also have the county public seal, and then we have we have what we call what's this other symbol?
It's a county coat of arms.
Yeah,
the seal. You have the anthem.
The anthem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And surely when it comes to the anthem, because this is very interesting, are all the counties, all the 47 counties required to have a unique anthem?
Yes, that will be not necessarily by law, but because we have 48 governments declared or established by the Constitution, we expect that each and every government must have some unique symbols that identify them, so that if the 47 or the 48 counties, for example, would be represented in this occasion, how do we know this is Machakos County? How do we know this is national government? How do we know this is Kakamega? Those are the unique symbols that then identify each and every of those governments.
Now, in a short while, we'll be coming to the leader of majority, Bwana Robert Mahanu, but let's come back to Bwana Chibole first. Bwana Chibole, how necessary is this anthem, especially because I believe that's one of the most interesting things. We've not heard of any other county having a county anthem. Right. How necessary is it? I do understand the coat of arms, probably the seal, the county seal. Yes. But the anthem?
Now, you recall, any established unit, a government, a county, needs to have an identity. And one of the things that has been used very effectively in nations and so forth as an instrument of promoting patriotism has been an anthem. This anthem has several things in it. One is that it is done in a song way, but if you listen to most of the anthems, it contains some form of prayer, all right, where the county citizens are, expressing a prayer, thanksgiving to God, and at the same time, asking for certain favors, from God. And two, they also talk about some of the things that they need or values that they need to promote as a county. And remember, at the end of the day, this is going to be sung by even small children, so that over the years, it is some form of identity and culture and sense of belonging that the citizens of this county have to develop through that particular anthem.
Yes. Let's now go to Bwana Robert Mahano, the leader of majority in the county assembly of Kakamega County. Now, I'm sure quite a number of these things have had to pass through the assembly for them to be ratified. I don't know how much work you've had to do, especially when it comes to the anthem, the coat of arms, and the county seal. Did it have to pass through because it's being unveiled today?
Yeah, well, actually all these legislations, understanding actually the county assembly is actually, one of the role is actually making the laws. And actually legislation is one of our main activity in the assembly. And all that is actually being veiled today by His Excellency the Governor and the county government of Kakamega actually has gone through the assembly, Kakamega County Assembly. And as already explained by the other presenters, actually, we looked at the merits. Why do we need the county anthem, the way you have put it? And we realized actually when you go to even the universities, just take any university, take Nairobi University, Masinde Muliro University, yeah, they also have their own anthem. And actually, this one actually distinguishes you from other institutions. Yeah. Go to East Africa, they have also. So automatically, as by the constitution, the county governments, now Kakamega being one, automatically we need our own identity. And that's how we came up with this.
Now, currently, Kenya, we are in that state where we have, during any national event, we have to play the national anthem first, the East Africa community anthem. Does it mean now, therefore, that in Kakamega you'll have to play the national anthem, the East African community anthem, and then the Kakamega County anthem?
No, I think for us, as being a county government, we don't need to stretch too much the East Africa. I think it's only the county, the country, the national government, which can actually stretch to the East Africa, and probably the East African stretch to the probably if it's there, okay, the African one, yeah. Or whatever. But for us, actually, the two arms of government, that is the two governments, that's national government and the county government, are enough. Okay. But when you also come to, this is actually part of the practice of the constitution, the followed functions. Sometimes you also go to the sub-county levels. People want also to play certain functions which are not necessarily have to stretch beyond their sub-county. Because they also want to identify themselves, if it's Likuyani, they want to do things which are different from Huisero. So you cannot actually replicate what is done in Butere when you are in Likuyani. So you want that belonging. Yes. So for us, I think we just have to enter Nana.
Yes, and dear viewers, of course, when Bwana Mahanu mentions Huisero and Lukuyani, those are just some of the 12 constituencies that make up Kakamega County. Yeah. It stretches up to Lugari, all the way next to Bungoma, Nandi, and all the way back to Busia. Exactly. And it's a really big county, 1.6 million population. Now, in a short while, we'll come back to Bwana Moses Sunday because we need to understand if the legality of this anthem, and probably Bwana Chibole, are we to expect therefore that this anthem, and forgive me for dwelling so much on the anthem, but it's one of the most interesting things, that this anthem will be sung in schools. Remember, education is not a devolved function. So do we expect school children to be singing this Kakamega County anthem?
Now, remember that we have the early childhood education, which is fully devolved.
Yes.
Okay. We also have technical education, particularly the polytechnics, which is also fully devolved. So we have certain educational institutions that are and functions that are already devolved. But beyond that, every resident of Kakamega County, whether you are a private entity or a public entity, but you reside in Kakamega, you do your business in Kakamega, you have a sense of belonging to the county. And when it comes to the identity of the county, it does not matter whether you are talking about a university that is operating in Kakamega County or a secondary school for that matter, which is a national function. So long as they are situated in Kakamega County, there is a reason for identifying with the county where you operate. But
they'll not necessarily be required to sing the county anthem in primary schools, for example, in Kakamega?
No. You see, to the extent that these institutions operate within the county, it is a requirement. Okay. It is a requirement that they have to do that.
But understand it probably in terms of law. Is there going to be a problem between now the national government and the county government when it comes to this anthem, especially in matters of education? Because we know the national anthem in schools is sung every Friday at parade or Monday at parade when you're raising the national flag. Now, what happens when now people are required, school children are required to sing the county anthem as well?
Now, by law, I want to make it very clear, the act I've mentioned, that's the Kakamega County Flag, Emblems and Names Act, also declares the county flag as a symbol of authority for Kakamega County. And as you know, whenever you are hoisting a flag, you must sing the anthem that accompanies that flag being raised, right? And therefore, we require all institutions that are devolved under the counties. And in our case, we are talking about the county polytechnics, we are talking about the ECD centers. Those are institutions run by the county government, that they'll be singing the county anthem whenever they are hoisting the county flag. Okay. And therefore, if it means that they must play two anthems, national under relevant national laws and a county anthem under the county law, then so be it. And I think that's the direction we are taking, because we are a government and not just some other institution, and we are recognized by the Constitution itself. Yes. And therefore, we'll have the two anthems played in all institutions that are fully devolved to the county government.
Okay. Yes. And in a short while, we'll be talking now about the progress and what you expect from the speech by the governor later today. But before that, we do understand that something else that will be happening today will be the county honors, that the county of Kakamega is looking to honor some of the exemplary individuals. Who exactly are these that you're honoring today?
Now, of course, the actual unveiling of the key the people who will be being honored will be done officially during the function, and we'll be able to know the whole list of the people who will be being honored. But let me just mention that we recognized it is important that if we have to achieve our aspirations as a county, we must be able to promote hard work and excellence, and ensuring that we have individuals who are prepared to go the extra mile. And that is the only way as a county we shall go very far. And to be able to promote that, we realize that it is important for us to recognize those citizens and institutions that go the extra step to be able to give service, exemplary service to the public, to be able to achieve excellence.
So you're not just honoring probably individuals who work under the county government of Kakamega, because can you describe to us the array, the various, the different kind of people that are going to be honored today?
Now, we have about 10 categories of medals that can be awarded, okay? But when you go now to what I would call the classes or the professional fields or the various areas of involvement, we are actually honoring people from all sectors, even in performing arts, even in journalism. Yeah, if we have an individual whose performance in that area has touched this county in a special way, we shall. In sports, all those areas, even in agriculture, in business, in education and all that. So there will be a class that is touching on what you call public service. All right, that is just one section of it. Public service is just one section of it, but we are looking at a cross section of the society, how the different players, even in business, have impacted, the county.
Okay. Now, let's go back to Bwana Mahano.
Yes.
We do understand the Governor Wycliffe Oparanya presented this same report that is expected to present here to the public, that he did the same at the County Assembly yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's something similar to what President Uhuru Kenyatta did in Parliament when he presented the State of the Nation address just 2 days ago. What are the highlights? What are some of the highlights that we expect from the speech by the Governor?
Yeah, basically, actually, yesterday we hosted His Excellency, the Governor, the Parliament, the Assembly, County Assembly. And as explained earlier, today is actually the climax of what he actually unveiled yesterday. He didn't actually go into details. Actually, he just gave a summary of what is expected today. And automatically from the summary, we're actually going to hear how far we have gone in 4 years, the development in various sectors, what are some of our shortcomings, which areas we have excelled so much. And automatically, yesterday we also congratulated him because he was also having a last address before the coming election.
Yes.
And automatically he might not have another opportunity to address the assembly. So with us in Kakamega, we wanted to do it a little bit different from what the president has done. The president actually took all his time and actually used the assembly to address the nation. But with us, His Excellency has taken a different direction. And that's according to his government plans.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to copy what the president has done, because president is running a national government.
Yes.
Oparanya is running a Kakamega County government.
Yes.
So these are two different governments that does not necessarily have to operate in the similar approach. So automatically, His Excellency the Governor yesterday gave a very simple address to the assembly and invited the members now to attend today. Okay. To us as legislators and representatives of people, we feel these are a very big opportunity. Other than His Excellency Governor spending almost 3 hours addressing the only legislators in a small room, we are now going to meet our own voters in the same venue. Then His Excellency the Governor will also address the entire county.
Yes.
Actually, it's going to give us a mileage, because members are going to hear it direct from him. And at the same time,
so what was presented in at the county assembly yesterday was just a summary. Today is when the details.
So just a summary.
Now back to the political advisor, because with the president, and I have to keep going back to the president because that is one of the things that you can actually say is much similar to today. Yes. And the president had an 82-page speech.
Yes.
Yes. Outlining the things that he has done and where the challenges he has encountered. How big of a speech do you expect from the governor today?
Now, I think slightly different from what the president did. The governor has approached this issue in 2 ways. One is that, yes, he will have a speech, but secondly, he has an actual written report, a book that is going to be unveiled, so that instead of going through those things one by one in the speech, he has a speech which is bringing out the highlights, but the details are actually contained in the report. Now, obviously, the president didn't take that approach. The president enlisted everything in the speech, and that's why it had to be an 82-page speech. All right. So what we are going to have today is the governor's speech, and 2, we shall have a detailed report and a popular version of the same that is going to be given to the members of the public. But allow me to say that in His Excellency's remarks yesterday at the County Assembly, he raised certain key things. One is that he observed our County Assembly has 87 members as of now, 27 of whom are actually nominated.
Yes.
Now, obviously, this arose because we had very few women that were elected, and therefore, for us to be able to meet the gender balance, constitutional requirement, we had to have quite a number of, and 27 is about 45% of the elected. One of the things he was bringing out is the need for us to have ladies take up the challenge to go for election, so that we can have less, nominated members of the County Assembly.
Okay.
Secondly, he raised what I would call national issues, but which have a bearing to the county. One of them was the issue of the doctor strike, which took a very long time, and it affected this county. We are the second largest county.
Yes.
Very much, and of course he appreciated that at the end of the day, this has come to an end. And then lastly, he raised the issue of what is happening in Baringo, in Laikipia, and in West Pokot. Remember, there is a bit of drought there,
yes,
but the insecurity that is there, he observed that if this is not brought to an end, it has that potential to escalate and have spillover, to other counties. And given that we are going to an election, that aspect of violence, must be brought to a stop so that we can be able to have an election that is peaceful.
Okay.
And obviously, he concluded by making highlights of his development record, particularly what I would call the flagship, projects. Remember, in this county, we have one of the biggest hospital constructions going on, what we are calling the referral hospital. It will eventually cost 6 billion shillings. I don't think we have any other project of that nature anywhere. And then he highlighted at the same time that if you look at our child mortality, from the time he took office up to now, there has to be an improvement in that there was a drop in child mortality because of the efforts that the government is making, and many others.
Okay. Bwana Moses Sunday, I would like to give you an opportunity to give final words as we come to a close of this session.
Yeah, thank you. What I want to mention is that this event and everything else that has been going on within the county, we've been very careful as a government to ensure that we anchor everything in law. And therefore, even today, you will see the county band here. You are going to see the enforcement officers here. March on, there'll be His Excellency the Governor will be here inspecting the guard of honor. All that has now been anchored in law, so that we don't have somebody coming from somewhere saying that what we are doing was illegal. Remember, county assemblies across the county are vested with power to enact law for the county governments. And what our county assembly has done is to enact laws that now enable us to carry out all these functions. Therefore, the four symbols of authority, starting with the flag, the anthem, coat of arms, and the county public seal, they are anchored in law.
Okay.
The enforcement team that will be here is anchored in what you call the County Enforcement Act, because remember, there's been a bit of push and pull as to whether the enforcement officers is a legitimate force or is it an illegal force. We've had some politicians say counties are employing militia and what have you. These are what Nairobi County, for example, call the inspectorate.
Yes.
And they are supposed to help enforce county laws. And all these things, we have anchored them in law, and what we are calling out to everybody, including government, national government and even county government, is that our activities now are anchored in law, and we must be supported to ensure that these laws are implemented the way they are intended by the county.
So no one can challenge any of these in a court of law?
That cannot be challenged, unless if a law is unconstitutional,
yes,
that can be challenged. But
yes,
I can assure you, all the laws we have made are perfectly within the 14 devolved functions of the county government.
Okay. Yeah. So, Bwana Robert Mahanu, perhaps as you make your last remarks, there's the issue of public participation, and how much of that was taken into account, especially when coming up with the anthem, with the coat of arms, with the county seal, or was it just a unanimous decision by the county officials?
Well, it's a very interesting question, but that probably some people who might have not had opportunity to participate. But within the Kakamega County, we already have a law actually on public participation, which actually went through the county assembly. So everything, like now the flag, then the counter anthem, all actually went through public participation. In our assembly, actually, we work through committees. So we have our committee called Public Service and County Administration, which all these ones falls under. And the executive did their part. They also did the public participation. Then when they forwarded to the county assembly through the speaker, it was dedicated to the particular committee, and we allocated funds. Actually, we went through all the 12 sub-counties and all the 60 wards, and actually members gave their views. Actually, this has come out as a result of members' participation, and whatever views and changes that they needed actually is included there. So all these actually owned by the members.
So we do expect that everything that will be unveiled today will be readily embraced by the entire Kakamega County population.
Exactly.
Well,
that's what I expect.
Thank you so much, Bwana Musa Chibole, political advisor at the governor's office, Bwana Moses Sunday, county attorney, and Bwana Robert Mahanu, leader of majority in the county assembly of Kakamega County, helping us understand what exactly is happening today. It's a big event for Kakamega County to be held right here. We are seated right in the middle of Bukungu Stadium. I think this is a football pitch, yes, and the dew is still fresh, you can see on the grass. The event will be happening here. The tents all around. The dice is being prepared, the lighting and the speakers and everything, public address system. There's a flurry of activity in behind and around us currently, and we'll be waiting to see what is going to happen later this morning. Of course, that session will also be aired live on Citizen TV, and of course what they're doing is unveiling the county progress report, similar to the state of the nation, so they're calling it State of Kakamega County. They'll be unveiling the county instruments of authority, including the flag, the anthem, the county coat of arms, and the county seal, as well as honoring individuals. Yes, this is indeed Power Breakfast. My name is Fred Indimuli. Back to you in studio in Nairobi.